If you are in the market for a new 10mm or one is just on your wish list for this upcoming Christmas, then I suggest you stop and watch this video before you make any purchases, because this one right here has it all. Check it out. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I appreciate each one of you. Was not expecting that last video I posted to blow up like it did, but it did. Of course, it's the one video that I made about me doing something, messing up, doing something crazy, and you all did not hold back in the comments. So it's okay though, I appreciate each one of you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Before we get into this review, I do want to share with you a giveaway announcement. If you want a new everyday carry holster, I'm in the search for one for my SIG P365X Macro, and I thought, you know what, why not do a giveaway with this? So when I order my holster, I'm going to be ordering another one for a winner. So what you have to do to enter this giveaway is basically leave a comment below in this video. You have to be subscribed, and you also have to leave a comment below in this video or the next two videos. So you have 3 chances to enter, and you need to let me know what is your everyday carry. What do you carry every day? Are you left-handed, right-handed? How do you carry? What's your preferred method? Are you appendix, inside the waistband, outside the waistband? You have to be specific. That way when I do find out who the winner is, I can order your holster and it will be perfect for you. Do you have any attachments, red dots, lights, things like that? So this video or the next two, I will put all the names. If you put your information in there and let me know what your carry is, I'll put the names in a random drawing and we'll pick a winner, and you will be getting a very brand new everyday carry holster, and it's not going to be an Uncle Mike's. I'm talking about a tier 1 LAS concealment, JM custom, something really well made for you guys. So it's just my thank you to you guys for participating in the videos and continuing to come back and watch this content. I appreciate you guys, and it's just my thank you to y'all. So make sure this video or the next two to enter subscribed. Let me know what you carry, be as specific as possible. That way I can get you the correct holster for your everyday carry. So I was in the market for a new 10mm, and honestly, the Springfield was the last one on my list. I had a ranking, I shot multiple 10mm, I did tons of research before making this purchase, and I never thought in the beginning of my research that I would end up with the Springfield XDM Elite 4.5-inch 10mm, but I'm going to share with you today a quick rundown review of this and why, my 3 main reasons on why I chose the Springfield XDM Elite over a SIG, over a Glock 20, over the new M&P 2.0 and 10mm, which is the one I really wanted, but there are some flaws there that we'll go into later on why I didn't choose that. However, I landed on the Springfield, and I am so happy with this. It's probably one of my favorite guns. So enough babbling, let's get into some specs, and then I'll let you guys know why I chose the Springfield XDM as my new 10mm. And also, you want to stick around to the end, because I have a rumor, I heard a rumor about a new 10mm coming out that will probably, if it does come out, it could possibly replace this one. It's a big one. It could change the game with 10mm. So stay tuned to the end, because you want to hear what I heard coming through the rumor mill about this new 10mm. Let's get it. So as I always say on this channel, specs are specs. I'll do a quick rundown, but the reality is, how does this perform out in the real world, taking it to the range, using it in different conditions? So it is obviously a 10mm. This is the Springfield XDM Elite OSP in 4.5-inch barrel. They do offer a 3.8. However, my applications, I wanted a full-size 10mm. As far as the basic specs go, this grip width is about 1.2 inches. They do offer back straps that you can replace, make it a little bit bigger if you have bigger hands. The sights are fiber optic front, tactical rack, UDOT in the rear. It comes with 2 magazines, and it's a 16-round magazine. Yes, you heard that right. 16 rounds of 10mm, so technically 16 plus 1, so 17 rounds of 10mm. That is absolutely amazing. The overall height of this firearm is 5.75 inches. The length is 7.6 inches. The weight, dry weight, is 31 ounces. The MSRP is $653, but do not let that deter you from this, because we're going to talk about some of these special offers that I've seen going around the internet that are absolutely amazing for this gun. The recoil system is a captive. Slide is forged steel, melanite finish, and it's optics ready, obviously. And basically they offer it in different colors. The most common obviously is going to be black. The barrel is 4.5 hammer forged steel. So now that the specs are out of the way, the question is, how does this perform? Specs, our specs. That's what's claimed as far to a certain extent. You know, a match grade trigger, match grade barrel, but how does this perform for the money? You can find these with the Gear Up, and I just missed it. It's called the Gear Up program from Springfield. So you're gonna get five magazines and an additional range bag, like a legit range bag. And that is all for $575. I've seen that all day long online for $575. And I have to tell you, the trigger on this 10mm is phenomenal. There's one aspect to it that I really dislike, is it doesn't affect its functionality, or it doesn't, it's not a problem where I need to, you know, completely dismiss the entire firearm. It's just there, and I'll share with you that in a minute. You'll be able to actually hear the problem. I shouldn't say problem, annoyance of that trigger when it comes to one of the things that I don't like. This thing is fully ambi, so you have ambi mag release. You don't have to change anything out. The slide release is also ambi, so if you're left-handed, this would be a very good option. The serrations on the slide are perfect for me. I really like the way that they design them. As you guys know, I am having issues with some grip strength after my surgery, and so building up that strength, I don't have the best strength in this hand right now, so being able to have something to hold on to, this has made a difference. So I really appreciate the thought that went into making these serrations. The sights, they are fully metal. They're not like the Glock. You don't have to change them out. You will have to change them out, and I don't get this. Why are companies doing this? They're offering an optics-ready firearm, but they don't even give you the option to put suppressor height sights on for the most part, especially with this 10mm. I couldn't find them. They don't have that option. You have to change them out. My opinion, at least make half and half, where some have suppressor height sights, some don't. That way you don't have to go out and do that. Would be a big selling point. So that's something that bothered me. However, you are getting pretty decent sights. You have that U notch in the back. The other thing I want to point out is the fact that the mag well is flared, but that is optional. You can take that off. If you don't like that, then you can remove it, and you don't have to have a flared mag well. I like it. I enjoy it. It works for me. So my hands are small enough where it doesn't become a hindrance for me. So I leave it on there. Another thing we got to go to and point out is, as I said, it is optics ready. That's why you have that OSP in the title of this gun, of this firearm. I can't say the G word anymore. I will get demonetized. So it is optics ready. I put a 507C on there. I think that's a perfect match on this. It looks really clean. Obviously, the Holosun has a really good reputation, and it can handle the 10mm, no problem there. Now, the internals of this firearm, so there are three really main things that I've come to really love about this gun. This has quickly become, about this firearm, sorry. This has quickly become my favorite firearm that I own. You know, it's in the top 2 at least right now. And I'll tell you why. Number one, taking this to the range, comparing it to other 10mm, the recoil on this is completely, it's less recoil than my Glock 23 and 40. And I think a big factor to that is the fact that, you know, it is a 4.5-inch barrel, so you have that longer slide, more travel, but the fact that they put that robust spring in there. If you compare this spring to the spring in the M&P, you're gonna see a huge difference. Even the way it feels, the weight of it, it is just, it's a beast, and it does help with that recoil. I shot everything from very low power 10mm to very high power 10mm defense rounds, some Underwood out of this, and I can tell you that it ate everything without a problem. And the recoil was very manageable. I was able to get back on target pretty easy, especially with the red dot. So if you're looking for a 10mm and you're unsure and you're a little hesitant about maybe you're recoil sensitive, or you have issues like I do in my hand and your grip strength or anything like that, I am telling you right now, you could shoot this all day long and be perfectly fine. The design on this firearm and the way they were able to mitigate that recoil is absolutely amazing. Speaking of eating everything, I want you guys to check out a close-up of the feed ramp on this, because this is one of the best feed ramps I've received from my new gun. You can see they really polished that, and that contributes to this firearm's ability to eat anything you put in it. I had zero malfunctions, zero hiccups, and it was just a solid performer at the range. Hey, doing some editing, and I forgot to mention this really important part of the Springfield is the fact that it has a supported chamber, so you can shoot extremely hot loads out of it, and you can also shoot a hard cast and have no issues, something that the Glock 20 does not. It does not have a supported chamber, so it's really important. Forgot to put it in there, so here it is. Accuracy when it comes to this gun, a lot it has to do with, not being, anticipating that big recoil from these bigger calibers, and, putting a lot of practice and time in. Another factor, obviously, is the trigger. Probably, if not the biggest, beside from your technique, if you ever, you practice down, is going to be that trigger. And this is what makes this really stand out, is that phenomenal match trigger. I believe it comes in, I'll put it up here because I don't want to say something wrong, but I'll put the poundage up here because I completely forgot. But I do want you guys to hear something, because I said I want to be honest with you, and I want to share with you something that bugged me a little bit. So I want you to hear this trigger really quick. Just double check. I'm going to put this up towards the microphone so you guys can hear this. So first of all, you're going to hear the trigger, and then I want you to listen carefully for the reset, because during the reset there is a false reset with this gun. You'll be able to distinguish the false from the real, but I do want you guys to hear it. So just listen carefully. A little bit of take up on that, not much. Clean break, crisp trigger. And now listen to this, to the reset. You're going to hear the false reset and then the real. So if you heard that double click, that is that false reset. Is it a deal breaker for me? No, but it is annoying. Taking it to the range, it was there. You kind of have to get used to it. It just takes practice. And at first I was like, wait, the trigger, something's wrong with the trigger. I realized there was that false reset, so I was trying to pull the trigger again on during that false reset, and it wasn't happening. So I had to get used to it. I had to kind of compensate for that. I did some reviews, and I was thinking maybe it's just this one that I received, but it seems to be a common thing with this. You get used to it, and there is definitely you can distinguish between the false and the actual reset once you spend some time with it. So something I got to be honest with you, something that bugged me. One of the dislikes I have of this. There's two other dislikes, and I'll share with you in a minute those. But accuracy, big part due to that trigger, that match barrel. I mean, it's on point, more accurate than I'll be, especially from standing position. I'll insert some video of me at the range. You can kind of see from a standing position, 15 yards. The accuracy on this, again, that's due to me. If I was resting and probably had this in the hands of someone who could shoot a little bit better, it would be a lot better results. So accuracy is great. It's ambi. The match trigger's amazing. Barrel's amazing. It's optics ready. The sights are metal. If you don't want to change those out, if you don't want to put an optics on that, that's fine. They're amazing sights. You have that classic 1913 rail system, which I absolutely love. The thing that really stood out to me from shooting the other firearms and manipulating them is the slide. How incredibly smooth and robust it is. I don't know if you all in the comments let me know if you shot a Beretta before, 92. The slide on those Berettas are just always just so buttery smooth. And with this one here, it's so smooth as well. I mean, there's just no griminess. You know what I'm talking about. If you've ever had a firearm that's just the slide, it takes a while to break in and before you can kind of get it to that smoother state. This straight out of the box is just an incredibly smooth slide. I mean, probably one of the smoothest aside from that Beretta 92 that I've shot. It's incredible. So those are some of the big takeaways for me. This is the things that I love about it. And the main reason I chose this over the Glock 20, over the M&P. The M&P does have some issues. I've heard the first generation of those, the 2.0, if you haven't heard of that, they have a 4-inch and a 5-inch or something like that. I wanted the 4-inch. I really wanted that to be the 10mm I went home with, but after shooting it and seeing some of the issues that it had, I just wasn't comfortable enough. People are changing springs, and they're changing all kinds of stuff, magazine, the springs in the magazine to help with some of the failure to feed problems with the M&P. So I did not want to have to run into that, and I think it looks amazing. The M&P, the style, if you haven't seen it, I'll leave a picture up here. You can see the slide on that. It's just a really neat looking 10mm, but that's not enough for me to overlook those issues that it has. However, on the other side of that, I did shoot one. My stepdad has one, and he shot it, he brought it to the range, and we didn't have any issues with it. So who knows, maybe he got a later version that was fixed. But price point, same price as this. However, you're just getting more with this. You're getting the match grade, you're getting better, just a better built firearm in my opinion. Now, I want to get into the dislikes really quick. So 3 things, they aren't obviously deal breakers because I have the firearm here, but 3 things that I just don't like about, that I didn't like about this that I had to overcome. Number 1 was that trigger, that false reset that you guys seen. Annoying, don't like it. Wish it wasn't there, maybe it'll go away, but I'm getting used to it. Number 2 is the fact that this has a grip safety. I know 1911 style, you know, the grip safety, kind of get used to it. I did not like that at first, and I was hesitant. It was one of the major things I did not want to have to deal with when it comes to a firearm. However, you really don't have to deal with it because it just becomes part of the firearm. You don't even think about it after a while. It's kind of like those black bars on a movie screen. After a while, you just forget they're even there. You don't even know they exist. It's the same deal with this. It just really didn't bother me after a while. So it's not an issue, and I'm fine with it. The other thing that bothered me is the fact that you can't put the red dot on it as soon as you get your firearm because you have to go through Springfield. They give you a little card in your box and you have to redeem the optics plate, the adapter for your specific red dot. Not a big deal. I would rather have that than what the M&P give with the 10mm, which is plastic adapters, which are known and have happened where they shear off and your red dot goes flying. So they do provide a quality mounting plate, but you just have to wait for it. I think all in all, it took maybe a week from me submitting the card and the reference number to get this back in the mail. So it took a week, and it's not a deal breaker, just a little bit of annoying, but I'd rather have a better quality one, like I said, than not get one at all or get a plastic one like M&P. So that's another thing. Another thing that I found a little bit, I guess you could say, just wasn't the best for me compared to like the M&P or, the Glock, not really, or the SIG, is the grip serrations on this. It's okay. I found it to be my hand gets sweaty. It did get a little bit slippery on there. Something I can easily put on some new grip, skateboard grip tape or something like that, and that will mitigate that problem there. So just a little bit of annoying. Other than that, I mean, that's it. I haven't, I put quite a few different types of ammo through this. It's eaten everything. I have 0 malfunctions. It is just run like a champ from day one. And that's another really big plus. The torture test that Springfield has done to these firearms is absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen that, you should go check it out. They do some pretty crazy torture tests to the 10mm, this new line of 10mm, and it is held up to everything. Can't say the same about M&P. You can say the same about Glock. But for the price point, again, what you're getting for Glock, what you're getting for M&P, what you're getting for SIG, and some other ones out there, I think this is an amazing price point. They do offer this in the 3.8 version. However, my application, which were 3 primary things: hunting, possible home defense setup, and possible wilderness camping style gun. If I go out with my family, I said it again, possible firearm for camping to protect, against more than just the 2-leg creatures out there, 2-legged monsters that could possibly do myself or my family harm. So really good option. If you are out in the wilderness, if you are someone who spends a lot of time, the 3.8 version might be a better, especially if you're going to be backpacking around. However, for me, hunting application, home defense, and camping, where I'm going to be stationary in one spot, I think this is a phenomenal option. 16+1 of 10mm. The beauty of 10mm, you can load it really, really light, or you can load it really, really heavy, really hot, and depending on your application. So my goal for this gun, for this firearm, is to take it hunting next year and hopefully get some hog with it. That would be the dream for this next year. Maybe even some deer hunting next year. Bring out the 10mm. And this is where I want to share with you the rumor of what possibly could be coming out. I'm gonna leave a link to the video of the individual who first posted this, because this wasn't my original thing. I came across this when I was doing research on my 10mm, and I want to give that person credit. So go to the description below and you can go to his original video. But basically there is a rumor of a new Gen 5 Glock 20 coming out in 10mm. And if that happens, it's supposed to come out next year, I think. And if that does happen, then I will definitely jump on that. That's one of the main reasons I held off on the Glock 20 over this. Also, again, price point, what you get. If the new Glock 20 Gen 5 comes out, it's going to be optics ready. It's going to be just a step above the previous generation, obviously. So that could be a game changer for me. That could definitely be something that would replace the Springfield. But as of now, I'm loving this. I think that there is a little bit of a hype when it comes to 10mm. Did I jump on the hype train? I think I did a little bit, but I'm glad I did because I love this 10mm. That's it, guys. That's the video. This is what I love about my XD 10mm. I hope this was informational and a little bit entertaining for you guys. If you have any questions, you can always shoot me a message over on my Instagram, the Lone Star Republic. I check it periodically, or you can just message me in the comments below. We're almost at 2K. Appreciate you. If you're watching this, 90% of the people who watch this aren't subscribers, which is pretty common with channels. So make sure you please hit that subscribe button if you love 2A related content. If you love firearm related content, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate each one of you, and I'll catch you all soon for the new SIG P365X macro review. God bless.